Welcome back. You with us here on Taking Stock. We got you the fundamental opinion from Nilesh Shah of Kotak. Let's get in a technical view in terms of whether this momentum is going to continue. Rohit Srivastava is with us as always on Fridays. He's, of course, with India Charts. Rohit, thanks very much. Rohit has been, steadfastly bullish now for a couple of months, actually, through the hiccups. And we've got this 5% move, Rohit. Will this momentum last, and how much higher can this take us?
So my sense is that now that we've taken out all the highs of September and October, that Nifty started to indicate we could be headed towards 12,800 in this particular move. I would think maybe sometime in November. I'm not particularly putting a time on it. And similarly, Bank Nifty would be looking at as high as maybe 28,700. So those are the two levels I think we'll start targeting. What we'll watch out for, though, is simultaneously we also want the S&P or the Dow to really break out because they've reached the top end of the range they were in for most of last 2 months. And once they break out, that would give us a further confirmation that the momentum is likely to continue.
Thanks for joining us, Rohit. So what would you have us trade? Can you give us some contours for any stocks or indexes?
Right. So I think what's going to happen, though we've seen strong performance, it's shifted from sector to sector. And what I was sensing at the start of October is that this becomes a broad-based move. Then you got that interim correction in between. But what we saw in the last 4 days of this rally is one day you had IT as a sector outperforming. Next day you had metals doing an outperformance. But one sector that did well on all 3 days is probably banking. My sense is that even the mid-cap index has now surpassed the high that it had made in August. And therefore, this is actually becoming a broad-based rally with each part of the market starting to participate. So it's not going to be a single sector move. I think you can make your picks, but the strong ones, which I think is, of course, apart from banking and metals, would be auto and IT. So I think these 4 sectors make up the strong ones that should overall drive. But definitely start looking at smaller stocks in the mid and small cap segment, because even while they may not have moved a lot, they didn't really fall too much in the last month. And therefore, what you're going to get is, suddenly you'll see that momentum pick up and moves will start getting bigger even in the broad market.
Banks, metals, IT and auto focus and stay in those areas where the momentum is. Rohit, Reliance has started to pull back, and it actually has pulled back over the last 3 days. And that's an important name for the market as well. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, so I think one of the reasons, I think, in between when I was expecting a correction or a pullback to 11,550, it was essentially that Reliance was looking weak. And that weakness was that either it would go to 2,000 or it would drop below that to 11,840. 11,840 is the 40-week average. It stopped exactly there and has bounced back. So what I'm saying here is the correction in Reliance is probably over, which started in probably September. And now it has resumed its upward trend. So apart from any short-term pauses, I think generally it will be attempting to go back to the highs that it made in September. And that's what we should be looking for, which means possibly testing that high or even making a new all-time high could be a possibility in the months ahead.
All right. Thank you very much, Rohit Srivastava, for touching on so many sectors and indexes. Have a great weekend yourself. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so we got you a fundamental and a technical view. And now what are the events to watch out for next week? Here's Nupur Jain Kunya with those details.
Thank you so much for that. Well, it will be a last leg of companies that will be reporting their Q2 earnings in coming week. Oil India, JK Cement to report their Q2 earnings on Monday. Tuesday will be a busy day. M&M, NMDC, GAIL, Bata to report their Q2 earnings, followed by Apollo Hospitals, Ashoka Buildcon, Indiabulls Housing Finance, and then we have Sun TV and Page Industries to come up with their Q2 earnings on 12th of November. IIP and WPI details to come during the week, so that will be important to watch out for. And from Globe, US October core inflation details to pour in on 12th of November, so that will be important when it comes to international event, and forecast is 1.8%. And finally, from entertainment side, we will get IPL 2020 winner on Tuesday. Back to you.
Okay, last batch of earnings really, and so far they've held out beautifully. Well, I think, Lata, that brings us to a close.
Absolutely. And with a promise that next week promises to be equally interesting, we should hopefully get the finals of the US elections as well. But for the moment, a restful weekend for all of you. Have a blast and go out and spend. It's also Diwali weekend or the eve of Diwali weekend. Thank you very much and stay safe.